Hello, Cat here. Welcome to another episode of Final Fantasy VI Advance. Well, this episode is gonna hopefully have some better editing and be a little less confusing. I know the last episode may have been a bit confusing in the way I put it together. I was just trying to edit out any advice that I gave you that turned out in fact to be bad advice, and cutting out battles that I lost and stuff like that. But enough of that. Something that I've learnt is that I need to level up characters more, and I will be trying to level up the characters more in this episode, so that if it turns out that there's a big battle coming up in the future, I will be ready. And something else I've learned is that I need to buy more stuff at the shops, like high potions and things like that, in case there's a big battle coming up that I don't know about. So I'm going to try to do that as well. But for now, I need to select characters who are going on this journey to find Terra, or whatever she is now. So obviously I'm going to want my character that knows magic, so that I can heal my characters. So you click X, click downwards, find a space that you want, and then you click X again. I realise I didn't really explain this very well in the last episode. Now you have a choice. You can either have a heartwarming scene with Locke, or you can have a heartwarming scene with Edgar and Sabin, depending on which characters you take. Actually, I'm not gonna have her up front. The first one you pick is the one that's going to be at the top of your list, and I think I would rather have Edgar or Sabin at the top of my list. But yeah, I think we're gonna have Edgar and then Sabin and then her. But yeah, I could have gone with Locke, but there's a scene with Sabin and Edgar that I like, so there we go. And now I'm going to have a look around the city. First time we could look around it properly. Hopefully everything I show you will be useful, but in case there's something that turns out not to be useful, because my memory of this city isn't 100% perfect, then I will cut that out. Now, someone in the town will tell you to go here, but I'm just going to skip over that and go straight here anyway. Now, you might remember that the earring is useful for increasing someone's magic, so we're going to be using that in a minute. There is a way to open this, we just can't do it right now. And if we had chosen Locke, then we might have been able to use some of the stuff that we've just gotten, but we can't at the moment, so we're gonna make that wait. And there we go, it's got twice as much now, or a lot more anyway, because there are two of them. So I'm actually going to get rid of Knight's Code and put a couple of these other things on. Not having to worry about Confuse is quite useful. Berserk is actually quite a useful status change, but Confusion really isn't. And Black Belt is pretty useful, so we'll take that. I'm gonna stick with Gauntlet for now. Oh yeah, we'll go with this. Why not? So alas, the nasty people are not trying to run us out of town. See, he tells us this stuff. I suppose it's nice of him to give us all this stuff for free. If you need more money, you can always sell some stuff. Actually, potions really aren't that useful, so despite what I've already said, I am actually going to get rid of a couple of these. I'm sure 8 will be fine. Actually, I'm going to get another tent as well. I know it's not very interesting for you to watch me buy stuff, so I will move on. If you go up there, you'll end up in the place where you started at the very, very beginning of the game, where Tower and Biggs and someone or other were looking down on this city. So that's quite interesting. Not quite interesting enough for me to shut off, but you can go and explore that if you want. This one's quite useful. Well, having said it's quite useful, I don't actually know because I haven't actually tried these things out. I'm assuming that they're quite useful because of the description of what they do. But that's pretty much the only thing that I'm basing that on, admittedly, so... I think that's pretty much it for useful stuff you can get here. I'm not sure what the point of this room is, because there's nothing in it that you can collect or get, but it will be helpful later. I don't know. Right, you need to make sure that you leave this town by going downwards. All of the other exits lead to things that you don't really want, so... Now, I am probably going to cut some stuff out here because you need to go to Fiago Castle, which has reappeared, but that's across the desert and across this grassy bit here, and you've already seen this bit, and the enemies are pretty much the way they normally are. So, one thing I want to point out though is you might be able to see the map in the right hand corner, and if you're lucky enough you'll be able to see the white dots on it. They're not particularly clear, but they exist, and maybe you're playing the game right now based on my advice, and so then you'll be able to see the dots on your own screen. Anyway, those dots represent towns and cities. That's something I haven't mentioned before, but that is something you need to know. So I will see you when we get to Thiago Castle. And Thiago Castle has returned, as you may have briefly seen there. Now, I'm still going to be using Aurora Cannon, because his other attacks are quite difficult to use. But I should be writing down how to do all of his attacks, so you'll be able to look at them in the episode description. Possibly on this episode, or possibly on the last one. I haven't quite decided yet. But yes, one thing I do want to point out is, as I said, I'm going to try to get them to a higher level. So I am going to be trying to increase their experience points, although I might cut out that as well. But there's not that much point in doing it here specifically, because there are much more powerful creatures coming up. So I'm going to save it for then. Now, hopefully I'm only going to show off the rooms that are useful, but in case I don't, I will cut them out. It's a bit of a clue for what you have to do, but there's something else I want to do first. Ah, right, yes, this is quite useful. If you do need to buy anything else, you get a discount, because despite what he says here, he is the king. I don't actually need anything else from here right now, but you can buy the stuff. And I don't need anything from the other side either, but you can get the same thing if you go up there. Some people might think that it would have been wiser for me to just come here instead of buying things in Nashi, and they would be right. That was a rather silly move that I did, but never mind. You have to do this to trigger the next part of the story, put it simply. Which is this. And if you only have Sabin but don't have Edgar with you, I'm pretty certain you only get part of this story, so. If you need to pause to read the writing here, then please pause the video. He is pretty young. Ah, at last, here we are. I have to say, by the way, if Sabin wasn't an adult yet when his dad died, they must have been pretty young. I mean, they must still both be in their 20s now. At this point in the game, I would imagine. Oh, this is where we need to go. I was really hoping the castle would fly. In fact, I think I told you that it would, but yeah, I was wrong about that. Never mind, it does go underground, so it's that. Alright, the enemies from this point on are a lot harder. You can... Well, right now we need to go to the white dot that's just above us. If you can see that. There isn't actually a lot there if you don't have Lock in your party, but I'm still going to go to it anyway because that's the place that we've come here specifically to go to. Beginning with K, I'm not going to bother to pronounce his name. I don't know how it's called. And then we need to go to Jidor. But we are going to be doing that in the next episode. I am just going to show off fighting one being, one creature, and then we're going to stop. As I said before, now is a good time to level up your characters, so I recommend doing that if they're fairly close to leveling up. It's really up to you how close you think they need to be, but I would get any characters that are pretty close to leveling up to actually do that. But now I am conscious of the time here, how long this episode has been going on for, so I'm going to leave it there, and I will see you next time.